Alright, hello. We are here and we are back with some more Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. I definitely didn't forget to upload the VOD from last night up to YouTube. I'll try and do that tomorrow. Assuming ADHD doesn't get in my way. But, yes, we're back for more. And we are going to... My goal for this stream is to get through, at the very least, the first part of the next trial. Because we only get one investigation segment this trial, but to make up for it, the second trial day has 2 parts, so they'll probably each be about the same length as a single trial day. So I want to at least get through the first part of the trial, and then we can wrap up the next trial. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. My Wednesday D&D group is having a extra session this week, so it'll depend on timing and stuff like that. But for now, let's go ahead, focus on the now, and get back into the cosmic turnabout. Nani the fuck? Why is a mac and cheeseosaur hanging out outside? So, this is where Mr. Taryn was murdered.
Yeah, this is the lounge. Let's see that diagram the police made again. Right now we're in the main building here on the right side, on the 3rd floor. Clay and Mr. Starbuck fled here from Launchpad 1 after the explosion.
You there! No admittance without express permission.
We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We've come to investigate.
Sorry, nobody gets in without permission. Not even the police superintendent. Can't have Detective Fulbright getting mad at me. So Detective Fulbright is here. Uh-huh. Yeah, he's in the launch pad at 1 corridor. Go and get clearance from him, and then we'll talk.
Leave it to me. I'm great at getting intel out of Detective Fulbright. Let's see, what trick should I use on him today?
I don't know if I should be grateful or afraid.
Now, to get to the Launchpad 1 corridor, just have to go through that door with the blue rocket on it, I think. Wait, that door looks awfully familiar. G'day there, boss. This is the door that Clay and Mr. Starbuck used during their escape from the launch pad.
Ah, that explains it.
The fingerprint system has been deactivated, so I think you can just pass through. Now come on, let's go!
It's a robot. Cosmos Space Center, Launchpad 1 corridor. So this is it, huh? This is the corridor where the two of them, or this is the corridor the two of them used in their escape.
Yep, this is the only thing connecting Launchpad 1 with the main building.
See the police tape on the other end. Guess we won't be looking at the launch pad.
After the explosion, this whole corridor must have filled with smoke.
The launch pad itself was probably a sea of flames. Must have been pretty scary for them.
Now, where could Detective Fulbright be? Hey, I think that's him over there.
Just a second. Okay, just had to send something.
What should I do? Which path is the path of justice?
He seems to be lost. That's funny. His corridor is a straight shot.
Huh? Ah, it's you lawyer people. Welcome to the Space Center. Enjoying a relaxing day off, are you? Here for a little rocket sightseeing?
We're here to investigate the scene, same as you. You have any info to share?
Boss, he acts all reluctant to give us information. We hit him with the whatever shall we do act, and I'm sure he'll fall for it. Got it?
Oh. Chris coming in with the 50 tier 1 subs once again. Thank you so much, buddy. Let's see. So we only have the one alert, which I'm kind of okay with, but I don't know. Might be something up with the alerts since I put the new ones in. Are we trying to catch the unruly family dog here or something?
Info on the case, huh? Alright, I'll gladly share some with you.
Huh? What just happened?
Detectives and lawyers seeking the truth and justice side by side. I like it. Just take whatever you want from me, you info bandits. I'm in a generous mood today.
I don't know. There's something weird about Detective Fulbright today.
Well, we need information, so let's run with it.
If you say so.
The crime scene. Jeez Louise. Just noticed the thing that Chris has gifted a total of 421 subs to the channel. You just overshot greatness. Detective Fulbright, could you give us a permission to investigate the crime scene?
There's an officer on guard and we can't get in. Oh, whatever shall we do?
That's an easy one. I'll let him know. Over there to let you in. Investigate to your heart's content. Take a week if you need it. A month even. Shall I have some snacks delivered? One of my men gives a mean neck rub.
No, that's okay, but thanks. Definitely not the Fulbright I know.
Detective Fulbright is acting sickeningly sweet. It's kind of gross, actually. I think he hit his head or something?
Who knows? Whatever the case, it's making our lives way easier. You were here at the Space Center at the time of the incidents, weren't you, Detective?
That's right. I was here on a security assignment.
Police are required to secure rocket launches now? I didn't know that.
Yes. Well, you know us. To serve and protect. The explosion it occurred while I was here on duty, so I started leading the evacuation.
He's leaving out a lot of details, but okay. Could you tell us more about what happened?
Of course. The bomb went off in the second floor of the main building. Right after that, the one over in Launchpad 1 also blew sky high. So I immediately instructed the visitors and employees to evacuate to the shelter.
Shelter?
That's right. There's an evacuation shelter in the basement of the Space Center. It's there for accidents and emergencies and the like.
So where were you when the first bomb went off?
I was on duty on the 4th floor. It's quite the madhouse, I tell you. The elevator wasn't working on account of the explosion, and the stairs on the 2nd floor were destroyed, so we couldn't go that way.
And wasn't it impossible to get down to the basement shelter?
No, we lowered an emergency ladder from the 4th floor window and escaped that way. It was a folding ladder, so it wasn't very stable, but at the very least it reached the ground. After I secured the ladder, I left to take another look around for any other survivors. Once everyone else got out safely, I made my way down too, and headed to the shelter.
Wow, what an ordeal. Climbing down an emergency ladder kinda sounds fun.
Thank you for your answers, Detective. They were very helpful. Just a moment. I have some more information to share with you. But don't tell Prosecutor Blackwell, okay?
Wow, and Prosecutor Blackwell usually has you on a short leash too.
Well, never mind that. I thought you should know there was a witness.
Could you tell us more about this witness?
Sure thing. The witness was a Space Center employee who was on the 4th floor. While she was climbing down, she looked through the window into the 3rd floor lounge.
So, she was looking into the crime scene from the outside?
That's right! It was just a matter of chance that she saw something important. Not that I know what she saw exactly yet, though.
You don't? That's the most important thing of all.
Don't you worry. I'll get around to interviewing her soon enough. She should still be somewhere here in the Space Center. You might even run into her.
A 4th floor employee, huh?
Alright. Thanks for the info, Detective Fulbright.
Gee, you sure are being cooperative, Detective. A little too cooperative, even.
Yes, well, actually,
Something you can't talk about?
Yes, something like that. Anyway, never mind. Don't worry about me. Well, I'll be on my way now.
What was that all about? Something is definitely going on. I'm gonna get it out of him the next time I see him.
Okay. I'm not so sure I'll talk about it, though. Well, we have permission to investigate now. Let's head back to the boarding lounge.
Hello, Mac and Cheesyosaur.
Ah, you two. Detective Fulbright has granted you permission to investigate. He also said I should bring you some snacks or give you a neck rub too if you'd like.
Oh, that's alright, but thank you for the offer.
Well, time to roll up our sleeves and start investigating. Let's see. Where's the diagram again? This lounge is on the 3rd floor of the main building. And according to Apollo, this is where he believes a third party killed his friend.
Well, let's stop the recap and start looking for traces of this third person then.
You read my mind, Athena. We'll make that our first priority. There's just one problem, though. This room. It's just so big.
Don't worry. We can just use this to help us.
Space Center pamphlet? For tourists?
Yep, picked it up at the entrance. The maps inside should come in handy. Let's see. Yep, here it is. A map of the lounge. This is the door that we went through to talk to Detective Fulbright.
Oh yeah, it's the door with the fingerprint recognition lock. Well, I guess this map will make things a little easier. Space Center pamphlet.
Yeah. No more excuses. Let's track down the third person.
Wait, there's just one more thing. What's that strange creature moving around outside the window?
Oh, boss. Just a holographic image.
Oh, yeah. I knew that.
That's a relief.
There should be a button somewhere in this room to turn the image on and off. That's what it says on the pamphlet, anyway.
The only reason you're so eager to start is so that you can push that button, isn't it?
And what's wrong with that? Let's just look for the button while we're looking for clues.
Alright, fine. Let's get investigating. First glance, it looks like a peaceful landscape. Then there's that creature.
Didn't the Hope probe go to some planet? Maybe this is what its surface looked like.
I don't know. I think it would have made news if they discovered a creature like that.
Did make quite a bit of news, though, when the probe came back.
Yeah, but the Hope probe didn't even go to a planet. It went to an asteroid. It's a big rock kind of thing. Even aliens can't live there. Window. It's right next to the holographic image, too.
Bet it's here to help people see the stark contrast between reality and virtual reality.
Way off. It says emergency ventilation, you know, to clear smoke from a fire.
See? It's pointing out the virtual insanity of reality.
Uh-huh. Some pretty futuristic looking furniture over there.
According to the pamphlet, those are no ordinary chairs. They're like amusement park teacup rides. You can power them yourself, it says. If you spin the table, your chair spins too.
Why would anybody want to have something like that here?
It's for astronauts who have trouble with the device on the ceiling. No vertical spins. It says it's a training device that's easy on the eyes and on the body.
Can a person really call themselves an astronaut if they can't handle zero-G? I just noticed the zero-G spinny test. The thing that would probably get me out of an astronaut program. No matter how I look at it, all I can think of is torture device. But I guess it's a training device for getting used to zero gravity. Uh-oh. Athena has an odd glint in her eye. Is she thinking about trying that thing out? I should try to stop her, but I'm afraid she'll just outmuscle me.
Hey, Mr. Wright, look up there.
Some kind of fragment. It's stuck in tight. Oh, so that's what the glint was all about.
That color looks familiar. I think it's part of the oxygen tank.
I think you're right. But if that's here, it means Clay's tank ruptured after they arrived at the boarding lounge.
So Prosecutor Blackwell's theory that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay down the ladder must be wrong. This proves that both of the astronauts were alive when they reached the boarding lounge.
So Apollo was right. The scene of the murder wasn't the launch pad.
Hee way to go, Apollo.
So this is where they discovered Clay.
Yeah, he was already dead when they found him. Let's take a look at the photo.
So he was stretched out like this, and... Huh? What's that thing that looks like a thermos?
That's the thing that Prosecutor Blackwell mentioned when I was in court with Apollo. He said it contains asteroid samples.
Alright, Director Cosmos mentioned something about that too, didn't he? They were brought back only 5 days ago by the probe that had the Hat 1 launched.
I wonder what they look like. Do you think they'll let us see?
Let's think about that after we've solved the case, okay? Looks like there are 3 doors that lead in and out of this room.
Now let's check. Drum roll, please. Ta-da! The Space Center pamphlet. We are here at this place that says Boarding Lounge 1. Here are the 3 doors. Let's call them Lefty, Righty, and Downy.
People usually say east, west, and south in a case like this, you know?
Details, details. Anyway, let's take a look at the west door. That door with the rocket icon leads to Launchpad 1. I know because it says here on the map, Launchpad 1 corridor.
So that's where we were with the detective. It was filled with smoke after the explosion.
Right. Up next, in the right-hand side of the map, or east in your world, that's the door with the satellite dish icon to signify communication, aka the control room.
Yeah, definitely says control room. Looks like it has another door on the opposite side.
They communicate and exchange information with rockets and probes in space from there. So it's the center of the Space Center. The Space Center, if you will.
Does everybody start to talk like Director Cosmos after they've been here a while?
But it seems like they built a new command center on the 6th floor. That's what they used for the Hat 2 mission. So this control room was empty at the time.
Are you sure about that? We'll figure it out, but... I've always wanted to see the inside of a mission control room, since we're here.
I'd love to do that too, but it doesn't look like we'll be able to. They want to keep curious kids like you out. So the door is protected with fingerprint recognition. Only the director can go through.
That much security. I'm definitely not the one they're looking to keep out, Athena.
So apparently, the lock is also hooked up to a backup generator in the case of emergencies.
Control room door lock. Okay, what about that last door?
This lower door, oh excuse me, I mean south door, it leads to the elevators.
This is the door we came through when we entered the room, right?
Yep, and of course there was no fingerprint recognition device, so it's open to anyone.
The elevators weren't working at the time due to the explosion.
Well, that's about it for the 3 musketeers of the boarding lounge.
Thanks. Understanding the layout of the lounge should help us understand the case. That's why I thought we'd better have a good grasp of where all the doors go. Here's another amazing piece of equipment. Walk on the surface of the moon, it says.
Oh boy, I want to try it. Gravity is weak on the moon, so I bet... And I could do mid-air so I bet I could do mid-air somersaults.
We're still on Earth, remember? Besides, it's connected to the ceiling.
Well, at least I could jump really high.
There's a sign on the wall that very clearly says, "Don't jump too high."
What good is this thing?
Didn't I say in the building... Didn't I say in the beginning, walk on the surface of the moon? Aha!
Something shiny. Hey, I see something shiny down there.
Let's take this cover off then. Is that a bullet?
What's this? Looks like a metal jelly bean.
It's really small, but it's a bullet. It's only about 2 or 3 millimeters in diameter.
Let's see. That would make the caliber 10? Caliber refers to the diameter of a gun's barrel, right?
Yes, but I've never heard of a .10 caliber gun before. This bullet must be for a special kind of gun.
Bet if you tried firing a bullet this small with a regular-sized gun, it'd just fall right out.
Yeah, it must have been a really small gun.
Wonder how the bullet ended up here.
I mean, we're in the bottom left of the south... we're in the bottom left, on the south door side of the room, according to this map.
It's pretty far from where Clay's body was. Maybe the police didn't think to look here.
Yeah, we'll leave it
And to Detective Fulbright, I need to accidentally hand us just the card we need. What's this? A trapdoor?
The trash chute. The cleaning robot has to throw the garbage out from here.
Robots do the cleaning? What a futuristic world we live in. I just hope they don't revolt like they do in science fiction movies.
No way. All the robots here are very nice. Actually, wasn't there one in Launchpad 1 in Corridor? You can go say hi to it if you want.
Is this the button?
I wonder what this big knob is for. Looks like the knob on a stove.
It's the same shape, but I think it's where the similarities end. And it's behind a glass pane. What kind of stove would require a knob security like this?
Well, the knob is straight up and down, so if it was a stove for the burner, it would be off.
Right. If it was for a stove. Still, I wonder what it's really for.
Something turned on by a knob that's not a stove. How about a rocket engine?
If you had to start the engine from here, the rocket would take off before you could get in.
I guess we can say for now that it is a mystery knob.
This is the fingerprint recognition device. Guess you put your hand on this mark?
Well, I guess when you can try. Now to line up my hand with the outline.
Don't, Athena. This thing is related to the case. Get your prints all over it, and the next thing you'll know, you'll be named as suspect.
Ah! How can you be so cruel to a little girl like me?
I'm not buying those tears, Missy.
Let's see. This door is... Where's that pamphlet? Here we are. It's the door to the corridor that leads to Launchpad 1. We went through it earlier when we went to Detective Fulbright.
So, I guess the security lock must be disengaged now, right? They say the corridor was filled with smoke at the time of the bombing. This thing beside the door. This must be the fingerprint recognition device.
Which reminds me, I think Prosecutor Blackwell talked about it at the trial.
Just a second. Yeah. Yes, your lounge. Then, does this mean the bomber's prints were verified by the system? The number of authorized personnel was supposed to be really small.
Voila! Fingerprint powder. Brought it just in case something like this came up. Found it at the office. I've just been itching for a chance to use it.
Oh, way to think ahead. Let's test the fingerprint recognition device, see what we can find.
You got it. Now to sprinkle some here and a little there, and... Let's see what we have here. Ah, got something. Oh, it's only a single set of prints.
Huh. Isn't that a good thing? Sure we could figure out whose prints these are. Although I doubt we'll be so lucky as to get the culprit's prints on the first try.
Well, I'm willing to bet that Detective Fulbright has some fingerprint data.
Right. And there's the security footage of this door, too.
Yeah, here it is. Came up in court the other day.
I wish we could see the part of the footage just after this bit.
Oh, because that would be right before the murder, wouldn't it? Let's ask the detective. The mood he's in, he'll probably show it to us right away.
Yeah, he's in almost too good of a mood today. Let's go see if we can find him once we're done with this room.
Yeah, beans, I clicked off the window.
Okay. Ah, mirror.
How thoughtful of them to put one here.
Thoughtful.
So the ladies can fix up their makeup. One's appearance is just as important. And in space as it is on Earth, you know. You never know when you might run into some other life form after all.
Is this just validating? Is this like the Ace Attorney team, like looking at like the alien and monster fuckers out there? Like, hey, you're valid. I doubt anyone who thinks like that would ever become an astronaut in the first place. You underestimate the degeneracy of the internet. These are apparently oxygen capsules. They're for recovery after a training session.
Wonder if they can change your voice. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Didn't do a thing.
It's not helium, Athena. It's oxygen. Oh.
Is this the button? Is this the button?
Some kind of panel with 2 buttons on it right here.
Just push it. That's an invariable principle of buttons.
I love Athena. There are such things as buttons left unpushed.
Hey! The giant holographic image disappeared.
Ah. Thought the side of the wall seemed kind of barren without it, though.
Still, let's see if we can find anything new with the image off.
Holographic image off, the screen is completely black, which for some reason makes me think of losing an argument with to Prosecutor Blackwell in court. At least it's got my brain revved up. I come up with my best ideas at times like these. I don't know how that's changed anything. It's like a straw, like I think of like space food or something. Oh, I just noticed, yeah. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Looks like a spider web.
Hey, Mr. Wright, look at this.
Looks like a bullet hole. Great find, Athena.
Pretty big. Whoever fired the shot must have been using a pretty large gun.
I think so. Based on my experience, I'd say this was fired from a regular pistol.
Whatever size it was. Somebody fired a gun in here, right?
Apparently. This is an important fact. Do you see a bullet around here somewhere?
No, the police might have taken it, though.
I mean... You got a bullet. Okay, then.
Welcome to the Space Center, guests. Welcome.
Hey, what in the world?
My name is Ponko. Ponco. Ponko. Are you sightseeing? Are you lost? Are you looking around? Choose one. I will guide you.
It's a robot.
I am not a robot. I am Ponko.
Oh my gosh, so angry.
Psychological observation and navigation companion. Ponco. Ponko.
Well, I'm glad we got that cleared up.
Oh, Ponko, I've missed you.
Huh? You know this thing, Athena?
Oh, she, showed us around the last time when I came here with Apollo. Oh, you're such a good girl, Ponko. That's a good girl. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy. So very happy.
Wow, guide robot. That's pretty cool. My name is Phoenix Wright. Nice to meet you.
I don't know you. I don't know you.
Huh? Ouch, that hurt.
She has to register people she meets for the first time. Please register him, Ponko. Certainly. Commencing guest registration. Please tell me your name. A nickname is fine too.
His name is Phoenix. A bit overly familiar, but I'll allow it. Wow, this game beat, Doctor Strange to the punch on that joke. Come on, snacking. Good so many chocolate.
Phoenix, please let me get a good look at your face.
Oh, sure.
Registering. Facial recognition. Facial registration sequence complete. We are now officially friends. Nice to meet you, Phoenix.
Huh. This robot is pretty cute.
Made a friend, boss. Isn't that great? Phoenix, Athena, allow me to guide you. Right this way. Oh, goody. Let's go, boss. Go where?
December 19th, Cosmos Space Center. Space Museum. That is a shape that you made those aliens. Boy howdy, that is a shape and a design that you made those aliens. Alrighty. That is, Oh, wow. What is this place? Is that rocket real?
Welcome, welcome. The Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Learn about the history of our nation's space development and the Hat 1 project. The rocket is just a replica, but it's the same size as the real one. The Space Museum. Ah, here it is on the map.
Okay, so it's on the exact opposite side of the main building from Launchpad 1.
Ask me anything, I will explain.
This is quite the place. Can't believe we get to see a rocket this close up.
This is a replica of the Hat one that was launched 7 years ago. It's exactly like the real Hat one, inside and out. Its little brother, the Hat 2, was supposed to launch the other day.
I wonder if Ponko knows why the launch was canceled.
Over there is an exhibit about the launch 7 years ago. Check it out, check it out.
Spacesuits, photos, newspaper articles. I'd like to come here again on the day off. Hey, what's this a photo of? Phoenix, that's the staff of the Hat 1 project.
Phoenix, that's the staff of the Hat 1 project.
Oh, there's Mr. Starbuck. He looks so young, so different.
Ah, that's...
What is it, Athena? Is something wrong?
Oh, nothing. I just thought Mr. Starbuck looked really young too, that's all.
Well, it was 7 years ago after all, so the young guy standing next to it, Mr. Starbuck.
It's Clay Taryn, the victim.
So they were mentor and protege even way back then. Let me check the thing. Oh, that's... Huh. Has that always been there? Huh. So Clay is 23. Solomon is currently 33. Okay. And Apollo's 23, so yeah, same ages. He's even got one of those staff jackets. Looks just like a regular staff member.
No, Clay was still a student then. He just borrowed one of Solomon's old jackets.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Clay would have still been in high school 7 years ago. Everybody looks so happy. Space Museum is great. Fantastic exhibits. So was it necessary to have put boobs on the robot? But like, because she's built like Rosie from the Jetsons. But you know, yeah. But with boobs. Anyways.
That's why the only entrance is on the 3rd floor.
Wouldn't it be better if they just made a new ground floor entrance instead?
There was talk of it, but they had to scrap their plans because of the budget cuts. Budget cuts. Budget cuts. We need more money. Money.
Who would record that kind of information into a guide robot?
While it was in space, the Hat One launched the probe called Hope. The Hope probe collected some samples from an asteroid and returned 5 days ago.
That's what Director Cosmos said too. Told us it came back like the day before Clay was killed.
And here it is, the Hope space probe.
I think I've seen that logo somewhere before. Let's see. Oh yeah, the capsule that the victim was carrying. I think it had the same logo. I think it can be seen in the photo attached to the autopsy report. Maybe she'll give me some more info if I show it to her.
The way the Space Center launch pad is set up is really cool. Would you like me to tell you about it? would you...
Set up at the launch pad? Go gentle on my spiky-haired mind.
I wanna know. Phoenix wants to know too.
Great. Now Athena's got a case of punkoitis.
Hooray. I will tell you then.
You know, something just occurred to me. Ponko's face changes color based off of her mood. Like, you know, green for happy, blue for kind of neutral, and, like, red for angry. And so does Widget. I can't help but feel that's not a coincidence.
The rocket is built right inside the launch pad structure. When the rocket is complete, it is moved along with the launch pad over the rails. And brought into position at the launch site. Isn't it cool? Isn't it? We used to have a big budget, so that's how we could build it all.
It's very cool. Grand setup that suits an important place like the Space Center. Guess everyone is hoping for a bigger budget next year, myself included.
I'm guessing the whole thing is operated from the control room, huh? That it is. But it can also be operated from the new command center, too. Either way, the safety lock in the boarding lounge has to first be disengaged.
Guess that's probably what the big stove-looking knob thing is. That it disengages. I guess before a big move like that can be carried out, there are all kinds of procedures.
I would love to see what the launch... I'd love to see the launch pad being moved. When's the next one scheduled for? Searching data. All future plans have been put on hold.
Because of the bombing and the murder, I'll bet. Which is perfectly understandable.
Well, when was the last time it was moved? Searching data. I'm sorry. That answer isn't in my answer database.
Guess Ponko can only answer certain questions. Hey kid, you want to see a dead body? Ponko, do you recognize this capsule here in the top right?
Checking registered data. I know. It's the Hope capsule. It was carried inside the Hope probe.
It contained the asteroid samples, right?
Yes, it was designed to store the samples gathered by the Hope probe. It's been stored in a safe in Launchpad 1 ever since it returned to Earth. It must not be removed. Don't worry, Ponko. People in charge already know what happened. They do? I must ask them later.
So the capsule was being kept in Launchpad 1, huh? Maybe Clay was trying to carry it to safety after the explosion.
Space Center staff must have been really excited to finally get the capsule back. It's a pity this incident occurred before they got a chance to check the contents.
Well, the police took it as evidence, so they'll have to wait a little longer. Oh, capsule entered the court record. Well, we certainly learned a lot about the Space Museum.
Thank you, Ponko. You explained everything very well. I love to explain. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
You are like old friends. It's hard to believe you just met recently.
It's because Ponko is so friendly.
Oh, what should we investigate next?
Let's go find Detective Fulbright. We have things to ask him about.
Let's see. Security footage and the fingerprint data, was it? Okay, let's head back to the Launchpad 1 corridor.
Bye, Ponko. See you later. Come again. And don't forget to visit the gift shop.
Poor Ponko. What a Dickensian, like, if we are all forced to lead. Corridor. December 19th, Cosmos Space Center. Launch pad 1 corridor.
What should I do? Which path is the path of justice?
There's Detective Fulbright. Still seems to be lost, even though it's a straight corridor.
Let's hope he's still in a cooperative mood as well, then.
If he doesn't cooperate, then I'll just have to use my powers on him.
You mean that lady in distress bit? We found a bullet hole in the wall at the crime scene.
You did? Our team found that too. It was Detective Arm who fired that bullet.
Detective Arm?
That's right. A warning shot for the defendant.
Was it really such a high threat situation that she needed to do that?
Afraid I don't know the details. What with Detective Arm gone and all.
I thought there were two people who discovered the crime scene together.
I already know Detective Cosmos will testify to me, so tomorrow will be about what he knows.
Hey, you're pretty smart. That's exactly what we're planning to serve as the main course.
I hope it goes down easy.
Detective, we'd like to run a comparison on some prints we found on the boarding lounge.
Yes. I just happen to have compiled the print data of everyone related to this case. Can always make another copy for myself, so it's all yours. Consider it a gift.
This is quite a bit of data.
Oh, when I said everyone, I meant it. Prosecutor Blackwell said to dig deep, so that's what I did. Sure took a while, though.
Oh, I got Apollos in my prints. Even got prints for all the robots.
I guess when Blackwell said to dig deep, Fulbright didn't bother to ask how deep. The robots have prints? They're not gonna bother explaining that. It's just a one-off joke. Anyway.
Clay's fingerprints are here too.
Yeah. Had to get his prints.
Still can't believe he took off his glove to get his fingerprints.
Oh, well, you can't blame me for thinking they're important in this case. There are a lot of doors that require fingerprint verification in the lounge. So, depending on whose prints we find, it can completely change the tide for both sides.
Makes sense. After all, the culprit's prints did get them past the fingerprint lock somehow.
Oh, and take this picture. Might come in handy.
Isn't this just a photo of the Launchpad 1 door?
Yep, but Prosecutor Blackwell seemed really interested in it for some reason.
Huh? What's so important about this door?
Beats me, but boy, could you see the gears in his head going to hyperdrive at it.
Sounds like this is going to be a major point of contention tomorrow.
Hey, don't forget about the print comparison, boss.
Right. Detective Fulbright, think you could run a test for us right now?
You just leave it to me. In justice we trust. Okay, here we go. Well, it looks like it was Mr. Starbuck who opened that security door.
He must have opened it when they went to go board the rocket.
His heart must be full of hopes and dreams for a space adventure right then.
Let's see. Okay. That's actually really handy. I didn't know that was there. That's super handy of having that little checklist on the stuff you need to knock out. It only took me till four cases to get to it, or to notice it. Detective, about the security footage that was taken by the boarding lounge 1 camera.
Oh, that footage. Go ahead and ask me anything you'd like about it.
Is there any way I could see a little more of the part just after this?
Easy as pie. I'd be glad to show you. Here we go.
Huh? The screen went blank.
Yes, apparently the after effects of the explosion damaged the wires. So there's no footage after this point. Ha ha ha!
Why didn't you just say so from the beginning? Something definitely seems to be up with you, Detective. You're unusually cooperative.
Well, I just figure if we work together, we'll get that much closer to justice, right?
It seems like something's really been bothering you. You don't have some ulterior motive, do you?
What? I don't know what you're talking about. I would never do anything like that.
Well, well, well. It has been a while. Can't say I expected a Psyche Lock segment. 4 cases in, I guess this is the first time we've been in control of Phoenix during an investigation segment, because Countdown to Turnabout didn't have an investigation, being the tutorial case, and we've either been in control of either Apollo or Athena for the last 2 cases.
Did you just mouth psyched? Is there something I should be psyched about?
No. Psyche Lock. System of locks on the secrets in a person's heart. I can see when people are trying to hide those secrets by using the power of this Magatama. Presenting evidence can break those locks and reveal any secrets they're hiding.
Mr. Wright, how much did they bilk you out of for that piece of rock? You've been swindled. I know some lawyers I can introduce you to.
I am more than capable of representing myself, thank you very much. It isn't some kind of fraud. It really works. A friend gave it to me a long time ago. But I guess seeing is believing. Allow me to show you. Let's see what presenting the Magatama will reveal, shall we?
Take that!
Thanks, Sam Riegel. Why you're being cooperative. I think you're hiding something, Detective, so why don't you just tell us about it?
What to do? Which path is the path of justice?
Detective Fulbright really is in agony. I bet this is the issue he's so torn up over. I'd assume it'd be justice. It's always justice. I really understand what's been bothering you, Detective. I truly do. Something happened that goes against your principles, isn't that right?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Until the explosions occurred, everything was just fine.
Is that a fact?
Yep, peaceful can be. Everybody whistling a happy tune as they did their job. You never saw a more relaxed guard detail for a routine rocket launch.
I don't think the guard detail was as relaxed as you claim, even as long as this exists. Bombs went off despite tight. Yeah, the fact that there was police officers and riot cops upstationed for a launch? That doesn't seem right.
Take that!
Before the explosion, what was supposed to happen here was a rocket launch. And yet security was so tight they even brought in a special task force. I'd hardly describe that as a relaxed guard detail. Explosions!
Now, hold on just one moment. The entire nation had their eyes on this extremely important rocket launch. That's why I was called in on a special security detail.
As versatile as you are, I can certainly believe that's true. But I'd say it's very strange that this person would be part of the detail from the outset. Probably our bomb specialist.
Take that!
Detective Arms specialized in bomb cases. The fact that she was here, on hand, means that you people knew that there was a possibility that a bombing would occur.
You got me, Mr. Right! Alright, I concede. You win. It's just as you say. A few days before the launch, they were warned about a potential bombing. But the plan to launch went ahead in spite of the threat.
Why? What were they planning to do if someone got hurt or killed?
Yeah, I know. The decision to move forward wasn't exactly just, was it?
How was the warning delivered?
By phone, and directly to Director Cosmos. But the police department instructed everybody to keep it under wraps.
That's a big thing to keep quiet about. No wonder you were so upset.
It's not only that. I've been distraught about Prosecutor Blackwell as well.
Prosecutor Blackwell?
Well, as his handler, I'm sure you've got a lot of difficulties.
That's not it. It's a question of justice. I've been wondering why he's allowed to stand in court.
The reason he's still prosecuting? Detective Fulbright, please tell us everything you know.
Well, talking to you folks about it would definitely be breaking the rules.
Never mind that. What are rules but things to be broken, right?
Well, to tell you the truth, having a prisoner act as prosecutor is highly irregular.
I think we guessed that much.
So why is it being allowed? I've been wondering and wondering about it.
So you weren't told why either, huh?
No, I guess the order came from pretty high up the ladder.
Yeah, it would do have. It... Hold on. Yeah, it would had to have. It would had to have. I'm sure that's grammatically correct, but it doesn't sound right when I say it out loud.
But Prosecutor Blackwell told me once. The hunt I've been on for the phantom of 7 years past continues even still.
7 years passed.
A phantom, huh? And not one of the friendly variety, I gather.
This phantom of 7 years past. Any idea who or what he was talking about?
Not a clue, but he seems to think that this phantom is behind the whole incident somehow.
Wait a minute. He thinks they may be connected to this case?
Well, this case has way too many similarities to what happened 7 years ago. Starters, that case happened right here at this very Space Center, too. And in both incidents, a threat was issued via telephone.
So that's why Prosecutor Blackwell thinks this incident is the work of the Phantom?
Well, that's not the entire reason. I mean, if you want to talk about 7 years ago... That's when Prosecutor Blackwell was found guilty of murder. That messy case is what started the whole dark age of the law. So you see how this Phantom and Prosecutor Blackwell's conviction might be related. Yeah, I can see why he'd think that. This incident in the Phantom, not to mention Blackwell's past. It's almost inconceivable that they would come to a head here.
This might sound crazy, but Prosecutor Blackwell can't possibly believe Mr. Starbuck is this Phantom person, right? I mean, he was acting kind of strange during the last trial, all in all.
Silence!
No, I doubt he thinks Mr. Starbuck is a Phantom. But I do get the feeling that he thinks the defendant has ties to them, which is why he's acting so impatient. He's got a personal grudge against Mr. Starbuck. And that's not real justice. I've always trusted in Prosecutor Blackwell's judgment until now. This time, I'm just so overwrought about it all. If he's lost his ability to think rationally, I'm afraid it might lead to a false conviction.
Never seen Detective Fulbright so tormented. This must be why he's so cooperative. Don't worry, that's exactly what we defense lawyers are working to prevent.
I feel bad for Prosecutor Blackwell, but I'm gonna be rooting for your team this time. Don't tell him that. You have to promise me you won't.
Detective Fulbright, guess I was wrong about you.
I swore to reform Prosecutor Blackwell and make him a valued member of society again. So I can't just sit by and watch him give in to his emotions and tear the defendant apart. You are the only ones who can stop him in court.
You really care and want what's best for Prosecutor Blackwell, don't you, Detective? Leave the courtroom to us. It's not like we want a guilty verdict either.
I was hoping you'd say that. I'm really grateful to the two of you. To show my thanks, I'll give you another bit of information. It's about the eyewitness. Saw her hanging around the Space Center entrance a while ago.
Really? Let's go find her, Mr. Wright.
Thanks, you two. I feel a lot better now that I've been able to get that off my chest. I'm gonna work extra hard to find that perfect piece of evidence for you. In justice we trust. On 3. 1, 2, 3. In justice we trust. Okay, later.
There he goes. Wait, were we supposed to say injustice or trust back there too? Let's go see that witness now. Alright, Space Center entrance it is. Cosmos Space Center entrance. So yeah. Neat. I didn't know that was a thing. That's actually pretty cool. Hello, hello. Uh-oh. Don't tell me the witness is a robot. Hello. Come over here. Hello, hello. Are you sightseeing? Are you lost? Are you... I'm Clonko. I shall guide you. Guide you. I don't know why, but this robot is kind of freaking me out. Hey, you're not supposed to be wandering around. Again. Huh. I've had it with you, hunk of junk. I'm outside. Am I wondering, when did that happen? Okay, welcome back, hunk of junk. You don't know how close you came. If you didn't snap out of it, I was gonna put you on the curb on trash day. Nothing looks better than a 42.5 degree karate chop. That's pretty specific.
Excuse me, but are you the one who witnessed the murder? Oh, I'm Phoenix Wright, lead attorney for this case. How do you do?
Big shot lawyers, huh? I'm Aura Blackwell.
Oh, I guess Blackwell, so I'm going to assume she is British then.
I'm a researcher. We're developing robots here at the Cosmos Space Center.
Blackwell? Could she be?
And this good-for-nothing robot is named Hunk of Junk.
My name isn't Hunk of Junk. My name is Clonko. That's me, Miss Aura.
Quit complaining. Your model number is Punko 2.
But Miss Aura, everybody calls me Clonko.
Quit your squawking already.
No, what are you doing? No, don't.
There. Bet she won't be talking back now.
Yeah, I will obey completely.
Yikes. Better watch what wires I cross with this one. Your last name is Blackwell? Do you have a relative in the legal profession?
You are correct. Simon Blackwell, who used to be a prosecutor, is...
Shut up. I only speak when I order you to speak. Simon is my little brother.
You know him? Yes, we met him in court a few times. Right, Athena?
What a dull creature. Has a switch been turned off?
Athena being shy. This is new.
She is hot.
Oh yeah, I heard he was prosecuting again, despite being a prisoner. Why doesn't he just stick to solving disputes among inmates in prison, right? Hey, what do you think, hunk of junk?
Yeah, Miss Aura, that hurts.
I'm asking you a question. Why don't you answer me, useless hunk of junk?
But Miss Aura, you told me to only speak when you order me to speak.
I told you never to talk back to me. You're worth more as scrap.
Robot abuse, hawk attacks. Blackwell family life must sure be interesting.
Well, do you have any other questions?
Wait, of course you do. You're a lawyer.
It's not like I'm on Simon's side or anything. I just want to get this over with.
So, you're the person who witnessed the incident?
That's right. I was on the 4th floor of the main building. In the robotics lab. The explosions disabled the elevators, so I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to. It was such a pain. Why couldn't they have used ladders in the other rooms?
Must have been a very troubling experience.
Probably best to just humor her here. Then, as I passed the third floor boarding lounge 1 window, on my way down, I saw the crime as it happened, and that's about it.
So you saw the crime as it happened, and that's about it. I see. Wait, what? You saw it being committed? This is no time to just nod and repeat. So you saw into the 3rd floor lounge. The very scene of the crime.
That's right. There's a small window on the right-hand side of the room. I looked through that, and from the outside. The room was pitch black, but I saw a shady figure holding a lighter in the left hand, and a knife in their right.
That must have been the culprit. Did you see who the person was?
Of course not. The power was out on that floor then, and there was only that tiny window.
I see. But you did witness the moment of the murder?
Yes, I saw the figure with the lighter raise their knife, and it happened at precisely 10 a.m.
Did you witness anything else? Did the killer have any distinguishing features? I already told you, it was pitch black in there. Although, I did notice that lighter that the person had, and their left hand had a pretty ornament on it. It looked like a planet. It was blue, like a little Earth emblem. They had good taste in knickknacks, anyway. An Earth emblem on the lighter. Better remember that. Thank you for your statement. We'll definitely prove Mr. Starbuck's innocence with it. Yeah, right. I won't hold my breath. Pardon me? Oh, did I hurt your feelings? Sorry, I just detest lawyers, that's all. What don't you like about lawyers? It's just an instinctive dislike. But don't feel bad. I hate prosecutors even more. That didn't make me feel any better, actually. Why do you hate lawyers so much? Little thing from my past. The whole legal system is meaningless in the first place. I certainly don't agree. I mean, people are imperfect. They lie, they're influenced by silly emotions. You can't expect such imperfect creatures to uphold a reasonable system of law. I like robots much better. Even sad sacks like this one. Hey you, look alive there! What the fuck did you just do?
Yes, here I go. I am the ultimate robot.
I'm not even gonna try. Going full windy old bag on that. Alright, that's enough out of you. You're getting a little too carried away.
What was I doing?
Yep, I like robots much better. At least you can make them any way you want them. Unlike humans with their petty emotions and constant worries.
How can you say such things? Feeling emotions? Worrying about things we care about? It's what makes us human.
How the girl finally talks and she starts with a speech. That's what makes us human? You mean getting angry and snorting like that? Rational thought. That's what separates humans from animals. Unfortunately, your reasoning capabilities are more akin to that of a clever little monkey. But that's nothing to be ashamed of. It must be nice to have such a simple mind.
Can I punch her, boss?
Get a hold of yourself, Athena. Humans certainly are absurd. I said you were clever, didn't I? Poor thing. Tell me, with people like you in charge, how can I possibly trust the legal system, So she distrusts not only lawyers and prosecutors, but the whole legal system? What in the world happened to this woman to make her so bitter? Even if somebody important to me was killed, I would never wish to see their killer brought to trial, because I'd much rather kill them myself.
You can't be serious.
That thing you're wearing around your neck.
Oh, this?
Around Athena's neck. Does she mean a widget? Oh, I get it. Well, well. Her Royal Highness has returned at last to her castle. Royal what? Is she talking about Athena? By the way, I heard the rumors. Our director is going to be the star witness in court tomorrow, right? Director Cosmos? Yeah, that's right. You poor things. You'd better be careful. That old man is a big liar and a huge braggart. What? He might seem like a bigwig, but the center has all kinds of problems. He has a lot of skeletons in his closet. But it's your problem. Okay, just whatever that was. So why should I care? What, that's it? No friendly tips? No good luck, guys? Just splendid. I'll leave you to your woes. Come on, hunk of junk. It's sad to me that she doesn't believe in our legal system anymore. She must have had a very bad experience to make her feel that way. Are you alright, Athena? You seem very down.
Just can't believe she said all those things.
Oh,
She's really upset. Has she been trying not to let it show all this time? Well, I guess it's not all that surprising. You hear about fabricated evidence and false indictments on the news all the time.
You mean that whole dark age of the law nonsense? I'm so sick of hearing about that.
Well, all we can do is believe in what we're doing.
Yeah. You're right, boss. I agree.
Maybe it's time we went back to see Mr. Starbuck. Good idea.
You should tell him about the bullet and Miss Blackwell's statement.
Alright then, next stop, the detention center. Are we gonna get a big ol' sigh? I think we're about to start things off with a big ol' sigh. My lawyers are here. Must be bad news. Hey, not necessarily. We found a new witness. A researcher saw the moment of the murder through the lounge window during her escape. Really? So they're gonna let me go? Unfortunately, it was dark and she couldn't identify the person. I should have known. My stars never align just right, too.
But we got a lead too, Mr. Starbuck. The murderer had a lighter with an Earth emblem on it.
A lighter with an Earth emblem. Oh!
Did you remember something?
Yeah, I sure did. Just a little bit, though. Anything at all would help, so please, tell us what you remembered. Thought I was unconscious the whole time. Now I remember, I woke up for a few brief moments.
That's huge! Do you remember seeing anything?
A lighter. I saw the flame of a lighter floating in the darkness. Good, good. What else did you see?
What's nearby?
It was definitely the boarding lounge, so it must have been after Clay carried me there. In the light of the flame, I saw a dark shadow flickering.
A dark shadow? That must have been...
the third party we've been looking for. Thank you, Mr. Starbuck. You've been more than a help than you know.
If we can prove there was this third person at the scene and that they're the real killer, then you'll be cleared of all suspicion.
The key will be whether or not we can identify this third person in court tomorrow. At least we have something to go on now, and that's a big plus. Probably tidy up the evidence a bit before someone mistakes me for a hoarder. Irrelevant evidence tidied up. I don't know exactly what, there's some stuff that's not there anymore that's gone now, but
Now that we have a glimmer of hope, I'm suddenly starving. Why don't we go back to the office and treat ourselves to a big celebration in advance?
For someone who's highly empathetic, you can be surprisingly unsympathetic. Interesting. Okay. Write anything agency.
You found your strategy for tomorrow's trial, huh? Good for you, Daddy.
Well, it's one step forward anyway. Hopefully it'll give us a fighting chance in court. As long as we can find out who this third person is.
Ah, let's get something to eat. I'm starving. My vote is Eldoon's noodles. Oh, Apollo!
What are you doing here? I didn't think the clinic was ready to release you yet. My wounds are fine. And I'm done lying around.
Apollo, you're supposed to be in bed. Leave the case to us. We'll take it from here. Thanks, but that's not an option. Not for me. Apollo.
You shouldn't underestimate your injuries, Apollo. I don't want you overdoing it.
I'm fine. I'm not in pain anymore. Besides, they just gave me an IV at the clinic.
An IV isn't a cure-all, Mummy Man.
Anyway. Just tell me how the case is going. Have you guys made any progress? A suspicious figure was spotted at the scene. You think they might be the real killer.
A suspicious figure, huh? Right. Thought you'd be happier than that. No, don't get me wrong. I'm happy. And I fully intend to see Clay's murderer apprehended. Absolutely nothing will get in the way of that.
Clay was your best friend, right, Apollo?
That's right. Best friend since junior high.
Sounds like me and Junie. So what was Clay like?
Well, he was full of compassion and energy. And he had a really loud voice.
If the two of you did in voice training together now, I bet you'd break a few windows.
You know, I bet you're right. Seems like only yesterday, Clay was a guy who lived for his dreams. We used to talk about it a lot. He was gonna be an astronaut, and me a lawyer. We'd talk well into the night, and even then, we'd never grow tired of it. Apollo, about that jacket. Oh, it's Clay's. I know it. It's a special jacket. That was only issued to members of the Hat Project. He was finally able to get one of his own once he was selected for the Hat 2 mission. He always looked so proud wearing it. Just when his dream was finally coming true, I still can't believe it. Damn it! It's not fair! Apollo, I hope you don't try to carry the burden all alone. I guess we were both unlucky. My own debut was a disaster. Guess you're right on some level. That trial a year and a half ago wasn't exactly the smoothest of starts. It was a rough time for me, but Clay refused to let me quit. You're fine, he'd say. Don't give up. It was right during his screening exams, too. I couldn't have become a full-fledged lawyer without him. That you're fine of his is why I'm still standing here today. You're fine, huh? You're fine and I'm fine were like your catchphrases, aren't they? Something like that. Sure brings back memories. When we were in junior high, Clay's mom passed away in an accident. But he wouldn't show his sadness to anyone. One night, I found him crying all alone in the school courtyard. Mom! Mom! Get away, Apollo! Don't come over here! Clay, listen to me. I don't have a mother either. Huh? I always think everybody else has a mom. Why am I the only one? But you know when I start to feel that way? I yell at the top of my lungs. I holler, I'm fine! And then you know what? I start to feel like maybe I really will be fine. Apollo Justice is fine! Okay, Clay, now it's your turn. Okay. Clay Terran is fine! There you go. Now we're both fine. We're fine. We're fine! What are you laughing about? See? We're fine. You laughed first. Fine. You're fine. We're both fine. Thanks, Apollo.
say it out loud, it really starts to feel real. As long as you don't give up, you can keep on fighting. That's what we believed. As long as you don't give up. Wasn't there somebody else who said something similar?
If I give up even to my fear, I'll never find the truth. As long as I don't give up, I can keep on the fight.
Clay called Mr. Starbuck his mentor and looked up to him. Wonder if I can become a good role model for my staff like Mr. Starbuck. Sorry, Mr. Wright, but I'll be taking a leave of absence. What? Wait, what do you mean by a leave? You're really serious. Can you at least give me a reason why? When I put Clay's jacket on, I swore to him that I would catch his killer myself. But that's our goal too! I agree with Athena. We should work together to find the truth. Truth, huh? That's a noble cause. What if the truth you seek and the truth I seek turn out to be different? I'm not sure I follow. What are you saying, Apollo? I'm going to catch the person responsible for taking my friend's life, in my own way. Take good care of Mr. Starbuck for me. Now, I must be going. Goodbye. Goodbye? Did you just say goodbye? I sensed a lot of seething anger and hatred coming from him. And also, suspicion. Ugh. He's not walking out on us like this. I'm gonna talk some sense into him. So she's very upset. Hold on, Athena. Apollo can believe what he wants, but I believe he's wrong. Even if we take different paths, the truth we arrive at should be the same. I think the quicker we solve this case, the better it'll be for Apollo. Yeah, you're right, boss. Alright, that's enough for one day. Make sure you're ready for tomorrow's trial, okay? If he were here right now, Apollo would say, I'm fine. Everything is fine. I just hope things really do turn out fine tomorrow. God damn. Holy hell. And yeah, we're gonna continue on. We're gonna at least go through the, this next set of, or this first day of the trial. There we go. Court is now in session. All rise.
I suppose we should reconvene in the trial of Solomon Starbuck or something.
Objection!
Your Honor, could you please come out from under your bench? There are no more bombs, I promise.
Yes, my apologies. I'm still a little jumpy when it comes to trials involving bombs. I mean, first the courtroom exploded. Then Mr. Tonate self-destructed.
I guess that's one way of describing what happened to Tonate.
Anyway, it would seem that Mr. Justice was seriously wounded by Mr. Tonate's actions. So you, Mr. Wright, will be taking up the defense? You have an understanding of what has happened in the trial so far. Yes, Your Honor. The defense is ready. Very well. Is the prosecution also ready? I take it you'd like for me to give the opening statement this time.
Looks like the judge has become a pretty good mind reader. Well, he's certainly seen more than his fair share of colorful prosecutors. I'd say he's something of a veteran of sorts.
I mean, yeah, the most normal one he's had to deal with is Edgeworth. Because there's the Payne brothers, which are obnoxious. Manfred von Karma, who turned out to be a murderer. You know, rock and roll superstar Clavier Gavin. Franziska von Karma, who would straight up whip him when she got annoyed. Godot, who also turned out to be a murderer. Just all kinds of just crazy prosecutors.
Let's see. In the previous part of this trial, we learned that the victim, Claytaran, escaped from Launchpad 1 carrying the defendant, Solomon Starbuck. There were explosions in the second floor of the Space Center, and on the rocket itself. The two astronauts used Launchpad 1 and Corridor to reach the boarding lounge. And how could the victim climb down the ladder if he was carrying the defendant? That was the mystery that needed to be solved. But Mr. Justice proved that the victim was killed in the boarding lounge. Prosecutor Blackwell, were you able to discover any new facts related to this point? Upon further investigation, we discovered an oxygen tank fragment in the lounge. Surprisingly, it would appear that Justice Stoner's argument was correct.
So that means the testimonies of the first two people in the scene are suspect.
Two people are going to be the first in the scene. And just as our team was about to cross-examine Detective Arm, a courtroom bombing incident occurred, and the trial was put on hold.
That accursed fellow. He killed my witness. He killed Detective Arm.
Definitely put the kibosh on anyone asking her about what she saw.
Exactly. In other words, the question of who killed the victim in the boarding lounge has once again become the main focus of this trial.
It's obvious Prosecutor Blackwell still thinks it was Mr. Starbuck.
Fulbright said that Blackwell has this thing against the astronaut. Nevertheless, the defense argues that it was a third person in the lounge, and that's who killed the victim.
Objection!
To make such reckless claims in a courtroom takes a bold man, or a stupid one. There is no third person in the boarding lounge. Or have you gone dotty already, old man?
So Phoenix is in his 30s. Okay. Not that much old. Oh my gosh, he's younger than I am. I don't want to think about it. He's a year, almost 2 years younger than I am.
Objection!
We'll see who's the dotard after I trounce you with my years of experience, little boy. In any case, Mr. Starbuck claims he saw someone leaving the lounge. Furthermore, a Space Center employee who also saw a suspicious figure at the scene.
They saw a third person? I see my sister has been running her mouth.
That's right. I almost forgot that Aura is Prosecutor Blackwell's sister.
No matter. She didn't see this mystery person's face clearly. Therefore, there is no evidence to indicate that this person was not the defendant.
Guess the possibility of that figure being... I guess the possibility that the figure was Mr. Starbuck is still there.
In brief, we need to determine if a third person was there or not. To end this, we should hear the testimony of one of the first people on the scene.
Director Cosmos, huh?
Very well. Bailiff, please bring the witness to the stand. Well, I believe I've seen you before in the newspapers. Of course you have. Of course you have. For I am Yuri Cosmos.
I don't actually remember his voice.
Director of Cosmos Space Center, which was of course named after me, Yuri Cosmos. Don't you have anything you wish to ask me?
It looks like he's all geared up to do some bragging.
7 years ago, I successfully launched the Hat 1 and... Everyone already knows how brilliant you are. Even I am trying to hold back my tears at seeing such a great man standing before me. So could you please proceed directly to your important testimony? Ha ha ha! I see this young man has a proper appreciation for greatness. Then allow me to... I went to a pirate voice there. Yar. Then allow me to begin my epical testimony that will be recorded in the annals of history.
That speech of Prosecutor Blackwell's just now sounded more like to me he was poking fun at Director Cosmos.
It's probably for the best that it sailed right over the director's head.
Now then, Director Cosmos, the condensed version of your illustrious testimony. Please.
Good specification. What I saw at the scene.
Detective Arm and I rushed towards the boarding lounge together. We went via the control room and peeked in from there to see what was going on inside. We saw a figure standing there in the middle of the lounge and Taryn lying on the floor. I hate to say it, but I can only imagine the standing figure must have been Starbuck.
You can only imagine.
I see. So in your testimony you claim you arrived at the scene after the two had escaped the launch pad to the lounge. And just after the victim had been killed. Oh, the horror, the humanity! But what I said is what I saw, and what I saw is what I said. An elephant's faithful 100%. Courageous action to take in the face of such terrifying explosions, wouldn't you say? To save my men, I personally went to the epicenter of danger. Risking my own life for theirs. Ha 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 ha!
Oh, what do you know? Sounds like the director really cares about his men.
Yeah, although it sounds more like he was scared and just had a peek from far away.
Is the defendant ready to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Director Cosmos' testimony is pretty vague. Yeah, These games are the closest thing I have to any kind of legal experience, and I could tell that that was super vague. I'm gonna have to press him and draw out more information before I do anything else. What I saw at the scene.
Detective Arm and I rushed towards the boarding lounge together. We went via the control room and peeked in from there to see what was... Hold on, because there's a statement that I really want to press.
Hold it!
Ara Blackwell also saw a suspicious figure in the lounge, but she gave the statement that it was too dark to see the person's face clearly. Did you see this figure's face clearly? No, not clearly. The lighter they were holding illuminated the area around their feet at the time. But other than that, I could see little else. That's why I could see Taryn, but I couldn't see who the other person was.
So for all you know, it might not have been Mr. Starbuck. Isn't that correct?
I would like to believe that. Starbuck isn't the type of man who is capable of murder.
Objection!
When the witness entered the boarding lounge, there was no third person there. Isn't that correct, Great Space Center Director? Yes, that's right. Only Starbuck and Taryn were there by that time. After we peeked in, the lounge suddenly went dark and the figure vanished.
I mean, they disappeared. That's odd.
Objection!
The reason the figure appeared to vanish was because that was the defendant. When the witnesses weren't looking, he fell to the floor and feigned unconsciousness.
Hold it!
Hold on. Director Cosmos, did you ever take your eyes off the scene?
Just for a brief instant, about as long as it takes for a shooting star to go by.
If you took your eyes off the scene, then this third person could have escaped during that time.
But what escape route could this person have used?
The direction of the opposite of the control room, the southern door to the elevators. There's no security lock on that door, so it would have been possible to escape that way.
Objection!
All things are possible right down now. The real question is, do you have any proof?
Well...
If we're just talking possibilities, we could each profess whatever we'd like. An inmate who used to be a university professor and lunar researcher used to say that there is a kingdom of little green men who live under the surface of the moon. As long as they don't punish us in the name of said moon for what we've done to it.
I don't know if that's a reference that carried over into like the Japanese version. But regardless, I have the utmost appreciation to the localization team for implementing the Sailor Moon reference. That's great. I love that.
But I say, where's your proof that this quaint kingdom exists?
He's calling your theory a work of fiction, boss.
And he's right. I don't have proof yet. Still.
The southern door was a possible escape route. I better make a mental note of that. Director Cosmos, may I ask you a question?
Yes?
Why did you look away from the boarding lounge?
Ha ha ha! There's actually another tale of bravery behind the answer to that. It was when Detective Arm saw the figure and raised her gun. Being a great humanitarian and protector of mankind, I tried to stop her.
What? You're saying Detective Arm raised her gun as soon as she saw the figure?
I imagine her instincts as a detective told her they were the killer.
I don't know about that. And you were able to prevent Detective Arm from firing her gun?
I'm afraid I was too late. I was unable to stop her. She identified herself clearly, and then she fired 2 warning shots at the shadowy figure. This information about Detective Arm's actions seems critically important. Please add it to your testimony.
So that's probably the origin of the bullet hole in the display.
Objection!
Which, kudos to that display. Given that, like, you know, computer screens and phone screens go completely fucky when in a deep enough crack, like gets into their screens. Like, the fact that holographic screen was so perfectly so perfectly functional with the bullet hole without any kind of like warping or like pixelation around the area of the bullet hole, to the point that you couldn't even see the bullet hole. I feel like that shouldn't have worked, but you know, science. Are you sure you were really paying attention to what Detective Arm was doing?
You doubt my words?
That would be a lot more intimidating if that wasn't a segue.
Well, that will someday be written down in history books.
Somehow I don't think that those exact words will ever be written down in any history books.
Mr. Wright. Oh, geez. Could you please explain yourself? So that we can all understand.
You say that Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots, and yet only 1 bullet hole was ever found at the scene.
What?
Only 1 bullet hole means the gun was only fired once, and yet Director Cosmos is saying Detective Arm fired 2 shots. No editor will allow such a glaring contradiction into a history book. There is a comment I could make about the modern education system and the direction it's going, but I am not going to.
Objection!
Unfortunately for you, the witness's words are true. We confirm the 2 shots were fired from Detective Arm's gun.
Objection!
But where was but there was only 1 bullet hole in the scene. Where did the other bullet hole vanish to?
Ah!
You should know the answer to that already. I should.
During the previous trial, a certain oxygen tank was presented as evidence. We've already discussed that it was ruptured in the lounge, have we not? Well, it appears that the thing that had ruptured was, ruptured it was a bullet. A bullet that was found near the tank, to be precise. This bullet was fired from a .38 caliber gun. The same caliber as the detective's gun. The rifling marks also match up. There's no question that the bullet was fired from Detective Arm's gun. Rifling marks. They're like a gun's fingerprint on a bullet, correct? And examining the rifling marks on a bullet can tell us that's the gun it was fired from. One of the bullets the detective fired was found on its way into the holographic image display. The other bullet came into a stop near the victim's oxygen tank. The evidence confirms the director's statement that the detective fired 2 shots. My beautiful contradiction. Gone. All gone.
And that bullet hole was from a .38 caliber, huh? Better update the record.
Very good. Now do we know the fate of both of the shots Detective Arm fired? Mr. Wright, does that clear up all your questions?
Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots. One hit the holographic display, and the other hit the oxygen tank. Does that really clear up everything about what happened in the scene? Not really. How did it hit? If she was aiming up, that would imply that Clay was standing at the time. No, Your Honor, it doesn't. Detective Iron fired 2 warning shots from a .38 caliber gun, but that doesn't explain the existence of a certain piece of evidence found at the scene. A piece that points to the existence of a third person.
Oh. Probably the other bullet. The 10 caliber bullet. Very well, but it won't do to keep us waiting, Mr. Wright. What piece of evidence suggests the possibility of a third person at the scene?
Take that!
And what is this metal pellet supposed to be? Just a little something of great importance we found at the crime scene, Your Honor. You found it where?
In a floor gutter at the crime scene. Looks like the police and prosecution both missed it. Furthermore, this is a 10 caliber bullet, making it much smaller than one of Detective Arm's 38 calibers.
Then that means...
Exactly. One more person must have been there in the lounge. A third person who had a gun that could fire 10 caliber bullets. And if that's true, it explains why Detective Arm fired warning shots. This person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun. And in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos?
Aha! Looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us. What's this now? What? You never breathed a word of any of this to me before. Ha ha ha! Well, all great men have a secret or two, don't you know? Foolish old geezer.
So Director Cosmos has been hiding the presence of a third person all along. Director Cosmos, I want you to testify to the court about what you really saw.
You may be a very great man, but in my courtroom you are just another witness. You won't receive special treatment here. Now please give accurate testimony. Detective Arm and I rushed to the control center together. In the lounge, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room, and Taryn on the floor. We were still in the control room to the east when a figure fired at us. Given that there was no third person in the lounge when the witness entered it, does this mean the person who fired the gun had to have been the defendant?
Not necessarily. It's still possible that it was someone else. Most likely, as soon as Detective Arm and Director Cosmos discovered this person, they escaped through the southern door. The one that didn't have the security lock.
Objection!
Double-edged swords are a tricky loss. Mishandled one, and it is you who was cut down.
Huh?
Your reasoning could apply. I have Space Boy with a killer as well. Think about it. After being discovered, he could have fired the 10 caliber gun. His second arm would have responded by firing 2 warning shots. All he had to do was feign unconsciousness to invent the possibility of a third person.
Objection!
Mr. Starbuck didn't have a gun in his possession when he was found by the police, nor has a gun been found at the crime scene. Its absence can only be explained if there was a third party who took it with them.
Objection!
Recall the existence of a trash chute in the boarding lounge. The defendant could have simply thrown the gun down the chute.
Objection!
You can't deny the possibility of a third person leaving with the weapon.
Objection!
It's up to you to prove that possibility. And I trust you haven't forgotten my little piece of decisive evidence.
What evidence?
Why, the detonator switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, naturally. The most compelling evidence of all that tells us that he is the culprit.
Ah! I did forget all about that.
Look, your boldness. How deliciously obvious it is that they lack the evidence to rival mine.
He sliced our third-person theory a ribbon and served it to us just like that.
Yes, well, I have a question of my own, actually. That bullet that the mystery figure shot, what did it hit exactly? It hit me. So, does this mean you're, ghost? I was wondering when you realized your boldness. Director Cosmos is an authentic, bona fide ghost. He can even pass through walls.
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell. Shame on you for teasing the nice old gentleman.
Your boldness, it was all in jest. Please show yourself again. Are you sure? In that case, how did you manage to survive being shot, Director Cosmos? Ha ha ha! I'm glad you asked. It was a miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself. The bullet hit a glorious Medal of Honor, whereby it ricocheted, thus saving my life. What?
That's unbelievable. I have to check this out. Oh, wow. Look at that. There's one extra Gyaxa star. The odds are literally astronomical. Guess it really was a miracle. It's beginning to really feel like the Cosmos has been watching out for Director Cosmos.
But why did you conceal this information, Director Cosmos? A great man such as myself has to hide things on occasion, no matter how much it hurts. It is the plight of the truly great. It may be hard for this generation to understand.
I don't know, but it sounds fishy to me. What else is he hiding?
Let's just cross-examine him and see what we can find out. Now then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Not a big testimony. I don't remember where that grate was, so we're just gonna... I'm glad they specify things. That'd be real annoying otherwise. Director Cosmos, I believe you are telling this court a great glorious lie.
A great man like me tell a lie? Have you ever heard such a thing in all of history? Not gonna open that can of worms up there.
My accusation is based off the positions of the people who were... based on the positions of the people who were in the lounge. According to your testimony, you and Detective Arm were near the control room door. And the mystery figure was standing in the middle of the boarding lounge. As you say, the figure fired the gun at you from this position, then the bullet would have traveled in this direction. However, we found the 10 caliber bullet here. Oh! This trajectory where the bullet was actually found... This trajectory and where the bullet was actually found contradict each other. Director Cosmos, where were you really when you were being shot at? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the human merry-go-round.
Objection!
Don't tell me you've forgotten already. Didn't the witness himself just tell you? The bullet hit his metal. Of this, there was no mistake.
Objection!
But in that case, the bullet should have been found near the east side of the room. Are you trying to say that you could explain this inconsistency?
Of course.
I didn't think so. What?
Oh, great Director Cosmos. Yes? Is there something you'd like me to expound upon? You were in fact not in the control room to the east, were you? You were looking into the lounge from the door to the south, is that not right?
What are you getting at?
Use your own brain. Your head must have... Oh, yeah. Your head must have some other use other than housing that... Your head must have some other use other than housing that bird's nest.
Bird's nest? Why does everyone pick on my hair?
Director Cosmos and the detective have witnessed the scene from the southern door. The killer fired at them. And there. And that is why the bullet was found in the south.
Ah, that makes some sense, actually.
Also, the witness being at the southern door is rather favorable for the prosecution.
Huh? I've got a bad feeling about this.
How about it, Director? If you don't tell the truth this time.
His handcuffs.
You will become rust upon my sword. I relish the chance to cut down a great man. Alright, I'll tell the truth. Just put your sword away. You are correct. I, the great Yuri Cosmos, was looking into the room from the southern door.
That's the complete opposite of all the testimony he's given so far.
And now you've lost your possibility that the third person was in the room.
I have? How?
The director and the detective were near the southern door, meaning the killer couldn't have escaped through there. The western door required print recognition. The corridor beyond was filled with smoke. The only escape route left was the eastern control room door. And the only way to get through there was the Director Cosmos's fingers. In short, there would be no escape for any third person had there been one.
My third person just disappeared, like in one of Trucy's magic tricks.
Order! Order in the court. Dr. Cosmos, why did you tell such an outrageous lie? You were covering for the defendant, isn't that right? Yes, it was all for the love of my men. If I said I was in the eastern control room, it would mean the culprit could have had an escape route through the southern door. It would have meant there could have been a third person. All I wanted to do was protect Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for the third person. What a convoluted lie. Was he really covering for the defendant? Looks like we've come to a conclusion. That the defense's argument of a possibly... the possibility of a third person has crumbled.
No!
It's over.
Yikes. The judge is about to hand down his verdict. Think, Phoenix, think! This is the perfect time to try and turn my thinking around. The third person had no way of escaping the scene. And what if one of the people at the scene was this third person? Wait, what if the whole premise is all wrong? Director Cosmos said he and the detective rushed to the scene together. But what if that premise isn't true? What if one of them reached the scene before the other one? And if that person entered the lounge, then they would be the third person.
The defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim and shot the director. There doesn't appear to be any room for argument and against these claims. I will now render my verdict.
Objection!
Please wait, Your Honor. There is still one possibility.
Oh? This had better be good, Mr. Wright.
There's one and only one person who could have escaped the scene. And that person would be the first person who arrived on the scene. Then, upon entering the boarding lounge, the second person to arrive came via the southern door. That's why the first person fled from the room, using an escape route that was accessible only to them.
Very well, let's hear more about this theory. Who is the person who could have escaped the boarding lounge?
Yuri Cosmos.
Take that!
What? But that's... Mr. Wright, what are you claiming here?
Of all the people who were at the scene, only the witness could have escaped. The director is the only one with the authority to open the control room door, after all.
But that means...
Exactly. The true identity of the third person is our current witness, Director Yuri Cosmos.
What?
What?
Order! Order in the court, I say. Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself in more detail.
I assert that Director Cosmos arrived at the scene before Detective Arm and entered the boarding lounge alone. Detective Arm arrived after that and saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos standing in the lounge. And that's why she fired those 2 warning shots.
Yeah, I've been hit. I've been hit on the starboard side.
Captain Wright, it's direct hit on the enemy ship, sir. A magnificent shot.
Warning shots fired from the enemy ship. Prepare to intercept. Cosmos, you have told a lie in this court once again. I've been hit on the port side. The enemy has called reinforcements.
Earth, the Cosmos Control Center, requesting permission to ask you to return to reality.
But my ship will not go down to anything less than the ultimate weapon of evidence.
Objection!
But I do have evidence. In fact, you could say that your battleship bears its scar. Director Cosmos is the third person Aura Blackwell saw. The third person fired it. Yep. Yep. I'm gonna let that play out because my voice is starting to get shredded a little bit. Oh, yeah, we're definitely gonna call it after we get through this.
Ah, yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person played upon us. Okay.
Director Cosmos must have been the one who fired the 10 caliber gun. When Detective Arms discovered him in the lounge, it only makes sense that he would have turned and shot at her. Therefore, the evidence in the director's body is of a different kind of relevance than before. Once we compare it against another piece of evidence, the mark you received from the third party will be all the proof we need to prove that you were the one and there in the lounge.
Brace for further impact.
Comparison against this piece of evidence will prove that you were the one in the lounge. The bullet from Arms.
Take that!
The 38 caliber bullet on the floor at the scene didn't hit the oxygen tank. It hit Director Cosmos' metal. If we have that ricochet mark on the metal analyzed, I'm sure the caliber will match up. It does look like a big ant. And if the mark proves to be from a 38 caliber bullet, it will prove that you were the third person we've been looking for.
Yeah! The bridge is destroyed. Losing altitude. All hands abandon ship. If that's true, then what about the bullet that hit the oxygen tank?
It was the 10 caliber bullet. In other words, it was the bullet fired by Yuri Cosmos. Isn't that right, Director?
No, you've got it all wrong. What? The engines have started again? It's a miracle. I'm not going down yet. Witness, stop this at once and confess the truth.
If you don't want the history books to say that a great man was a great liar, then accept your fate and tell the truth.
Are you giving me orders? Me, the great director of the Cosmos Space Center? Yeah, but the cosmos revolves around me! Ah, someone get me off this thing! Order! Order in the court. Will someone please stop the witness from spitting? Thank goodness we were able to stop him from spitting off the face of the earth. While he was twirling, I took the liberty of running an analysis on the mark on the metal. It was made by a 38 caliber bullet, matching with the size of Detective Arm's firearm. Are you ready to confess to the truth, witness? No, you've got it all wrong. This is just a misunderstanding.
Is he gonna start piling on more lies?
Looks like it.
But no matter how many lies he tells, I'll just expose them one by one. I'll make that big liar tell the truth. Alright, to be continued. Yeah, save progress. And from there, that is where we're gonna call it for the night. I'll be honest, I was kind of expecting the cases to be a little bit longer, and looking at things, it's quite possible that this one could be a fairly short one. But at the same time, my voice is getting kind of shredded.
and I want to rest it because, like I said at the beginning, my Wednesday D&D game, we're having an extra session this week tomorrow, so I want to make sure I have a voice for that. Don't know exactly what time that's gonna be. Usually, like when we play on Fridays, they tend to be a little later in the day than when we play on Wednesdays because we have people over in like Ireland and England and Wales that are part of that group, so we can play later for them. Since it's weekends. But it'll kind of depend. I'll play it by ear. If I can make it happen, I might stream earlier in the day. But we'll figure it out. I will probably post on Twitter and Blue Sky whether or not I end up opting to stream. But yeah, we'll play it by ear. We'll figure it out, and I will let you guys know. But for now, it is very much time to call it. I am tired and want to chill a little bit before bed. So I will see you guys next time. Be that tomorrow or another day later down the line. And have a good night. Bye, guys.